Today's episode of Blowjam is brought to you by Lola. Get $5 off your first month at trymylola.com/blow. Hey buddies, it's Blowjam presents PODSMASH, episode 35. We're the podcast that reviews podcasts, and I'm your host Delia Blowjam, and with me is Ryan Blowjam.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm going to start off by pandering real quick. Please, rate us reviews, follow the things that we do, check out the bands that we tell you about, check out the podcasts that we tell you about. You can also give us a call on the Blowjam headquarters tip line, which is area code 607-296-7297. Okay, let's kick it off with our first segment. It's called Feed Me. We talk about our top 3 favorite episodes of the week. And Buggy, you kick it off. You actually have a clip of a song to play us, so I'm excited.
Yeah, okay, so my number 1 is Harmontown. It's a comedy podcast with hosts Dan Harmon, Jeff Davis, and Spencer Crittenden. This week's episode is called The Cowboy Rulebook. It's a very musical episode with guest singer/songwriter Robbie Folks. Mitch Hurwitz was also there. He's the writer of Arrested Development. And also there was Rob Schraub. And Dan and Robbie Folks, they improvised like a country song called The Cowboy Rulebook. And it's pretty funny. Here, I got a little clip. Give you a little taste of that.
I feel like it's like almost like you hear the titles and you're kind of like, didn't you already do that song? It's like one's like Mamas Don't Let Your... God damn it. And there's another one that's like Cowboys do this or that and they don't do that. And
the Cowboy Rulebook?
Yeah, I think that's what it is, the Cowboy Rulebook.
Might be that.
Why don't we write the Cowboy Rulebook song? I know. All right, okay.
I'll allow Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson brings you the Cowboy Rulebook.
These are the rules of the cowboy.
Cowboys never wear blue jeans. Whoa. After Labor Day, when there's rattlesnakes born. Cowboys never drank whiskey outside a saloon with no Wi-Fi. 'Cause they never want any forlornness. These are the rules for cowboys. These are the rules. 'Cause they have every cowboy.
Always.
Yeah. Never has the rules. Yeah, no, you got the idea. Cowboys are always riding around with a horsey. If 2 cowboys meet, the one on the left has to dance.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. You get the idea.
That is great.
It's pretty funny. You got, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is actually Heavyweight, which I don't believe has made it onto our top 3. It's hosted by Jonathan What's-His-Face. And, all right, I'm off to a great start.
Man.
But this episode is called Becky and Joe. And essentially the whole point about Heavyweight is something happens in a person's life and it weighs on them. And then they want to reconnect with somebody, find out what happened, kind of smooth the waters and start fresh. So Becky and Joe, they were sisters. And they had a lot of babysitters growing up. And there was one particular babysitter that they really liked and made a huge lasting impression on them. And the babysitter just disappeared. She didn't pick them up from school one day. They waited like 3 hours after school, and they never saw her again. Had no clue. So Jonathan helped look for her, and it was really touching. It was a good episode.
Oh, okay.
All right. What's Jonathan's last name?
John, what's his face?
Oh, okay. All right, I got it right.
Yeah. My number 2 is Punch Up the Jam. It's a podcast where host Miel Bredow takes a hit song and tries to make it better despite having no qualifications. Host Miel moved to New York City this week, and her guest was Josh Gondelman. He's a writer for Jesus and Marrow, and also Last Week Tonight. The jam he picked to punch up is called Intergalactic by the Beastie Boys.
I thought you wouldn't be able to punch that up. That's musical genius.
No, it's like, me too, but like, I don't know, when they break it down, like word for word, the song's like completely ridiculous. It makes no sense at all. So Neil's punch up was really funny too, but you'd have to listen to find out. So it's a little different format. She moved to New York City, and Demi's not there anymore, so it's different.
Alright, that's cool. Yeah, like the song's lyrics are pretty ridiculous. I like my sugar with coffee and cream.
Oh yeah. Like, drop.
I love that song. It reminds me of being like 13. Formidable years. Yeah, that's how old you are.
I'm pretty old.
That's why I love you.
Okay.
Speaking of age, we're PODSMASH 35. PODSMASH is now officially old enough to run for president. I still have a couple years to go. Ryan, you could kick off your campaign right now.
I thought it has to be 37.
No, it's 35.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, it doesn't matter. You still meet the cut. Can I be your campaign manager? Yeah, I got a second one. Jeez Louise. All right. Here's my second one. Papers, wrestling. I'm just being silly. Sorry, I'm trying to get you going. Second one is Comedy Bang Bang with host Scott Ackerman. Scott, what's his face? And his guest was Stephanie's Whittles Wax. Wow, I'm fucking the fuck up. And
Stephanie Whittles Wax.
Thank you, thank you.
There you go.
She is the sister of our late great comedian friend, Harris Whittles. He did a lot of stuff for like Parks and Rec and Sarah Silverman. Yo, I was about to call her Sarah Silversmith just now.
Oh, God.
All right, it's okay. Let me just take a sip of my Southern Tier Brewing Company Lakeshore Fog Hazy and Juicy IPA India Pale Ale.
You owe us money now.
Or free beer, I'll take that. So good. So she was promoting her new podcast, which I gotta check out. It's called Last Day. It's about like the day where somebody dies and what happens throughout that whole day. You know, like they interview the doctors, they interview everybody who was like there, and it sounds pretty interesting. But my favorite part was the characters. So they had, and it's always, you know, comedians doing improv characters. Aspiring athletes, Shemp A and Corey B, or Corey A. They're trying to be athletes, like they only know the term swish and brick. And they're trying to be basketball players, but they're like short and fat and old. And then Tater. Tater is a retired man played by Drew Tarver, who's seriously the funniest dude ever. He's on a Comedy Central show called The Other Two, and Tater is the best. Tater is like an awesome character. Wow. All right. I swear to God, for my third episode, I'm going to be eloquent, and I'm going to know everybody's names, and it's going to be great.
Holy shit. All right. So my number 3 is Bizarre Albums. It's a podcast about bizarre albums with host Tony Thaxton. This week's episode is about Joe Pesci's Vincent LaGuardia Gambini Sings For You, his 1998 album. Joe Pesci he has a long history of music, actually. He played guitar in the 60s. He played for this band called Joey D and the Starliners. He was best known for their hit song Peppermint Twist. It was number 1 in 1962.
Whoa.
He had a short run, but he never played on any of the recordings, though. But he was like their live guitarist. I don't know who played on the recording, but like he got cut from the band. And another person who got cut from the band, someone might have heard of him. His name's Jimi Hendrix.
What?
And, Pesci was in a movie. He was in a movie in the 60s. He was an extra on Hey, Let's Twist. So he's all about twisting, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Twisting and shouting.
He was all up in the 60s, twisting all around. 1968, Pesci released an album of his own called Little Joe Sure Can Sing. Little Joe Sure Can Sing. Pretty funny. And he had a nightclub show with his friend Frank Vincent. Frank Vincent played the drums, and Joe Pesci played guitar and sang. They had like a whole act, you know, like it's half comedy, half like music. Sounds pretty interesting.
Wow.
But this album we're talking about, Vincent LaGuardia Gambini Sings For You, is about his character from My Cousin Vinny. It's pretty horrible, like that.
Wow.
He tries to rap on it, and there's a lot of.
Oh my god.
What could it do for me today, Vinny? I'm gonna do nothing, man. Oh, it's silly, dude.
Whoa.
But his 60s stuff, man, he could really sing, dude. I was like, wow, that's fucking Joe Pesci. He was really belting it out. He sounded like the Beatles or something.
This is mind blowing.
It blew my mind. That's why it's up in there, man.
Damn, dude.
I thought that was crazy.
Alright, as soon as we get out of this vocal booth, I know what I'm doing.
Joe Pesci was a rocker. He's twisting all over the place.
Yeah, he's twisting his words, trying out the rap stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
Wow, that's awesome. Ready for me to talk good?
Sure, talk good.
My third choice is Love It or Leave It with host John Lovett. He is also a co-host on a podcast called Pod Save America. And this episode is called Ukraine Clown Posse, which unto itself is an amazing title. His guests were Adam Scott from Parks and Recreation, etc., and Nicole Byer, which is Why Won't You Date Me? And Best Friends are her podcasts. And it was the best segment that they did. John Lovett, he wrote, how am I going to put it? He wrote, it was like a Civil War, love letters going back and forth. And Adam Scott played one side and Nicole played the other side. And the name of the segment is a spinoff of Fast and the Furious. He called it Civil War 2, 2 Civil, 2 War. It's wicked funny. I'm not even going to tell you anymore. So I guess I can't talk, but I swear to God, in the second act of this, man, I'm going to be talking so good. It's insane.
All right, hopefully you talk good in the ad segment.
Me too. I hope. Hey ladies, what's up girls? Let's have a little chat about feminine care and how Lola's 100% hypoallergenic cotton tampons and subscription service gives you peace of mind when it comes to your period. As someone who suffers from PMDD, which is PMS on steroids, I can't stress enough that it's nothing to be dismissed. The physical and psychological pain is real, and don't let anyone dismiss it as just being moody. Ladies should talk about their periods and destigmatize it. That's why I'm so happy that Blowjam is sponsored by Lola. They don't cure the pain, but they definitely make it that time of the month easier and less worrisome. Now, when it comes to tampon brands, the FDA doesn't require them to disclose a comprehensive list of ingredients. So it's free rein to use synthetic ingredients like rayon and polyester, and harsh chemical cleansing agents and fragrance and dyes. Every woman should worry about the shit that they're putting inside of our pussies each month. But Lola is 100% cotton with BPA-free applicators. And I especially like the subscription service. I'm too scatterbrained to remember to buy tampons until it's too late. But I get my Lola delivered in the mail, and I can choose my assortment of light, regular, and super. I choose my quantity of boxes and frequency of delivery. You can skip, change, or cancel anytime. So for you, the listeners of Blowjam, Lola is offering $5 off your first month when you go to trymylola.com/blow. Again, that's trymylola.com/blow to get $5 off your first month. And we're back. And the host of Heavyweight is Jonathan Goldman, because I looked it up by asking Ryan. Let's talk about news. What did we do last night? It was pretty event, fun-filled stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty fun last night. We went to the opening day of the Binghamton Devils hockey. They played the Utica Canucks and lost 4-3. But the reason we went is because beforehand the Bros were playing. It's our friends Kevin Kober and Tom Dowd. They've both been on the podcast.
Yeah.
But And
We're still trying to snag Scott Graham, the singer.
yeah, they played a set before the game, and in between periods they were playing. So it was pretty neat because Tom was on rollerblades the whole time, and somehow made it not look gay by playing guitar.
I know. Somehow he was the coolest guy I've ever seen on rollerblades.
Somehow he pulled that shit off. It was really cool.
Yeah, he was like finger tapping with one hand and drinking beer with his other hand.
Oh yeah, he totally was. It was like and slamming a beer in the other hand. It was like, yes, on rollerblades. I'm like, geez, are they gonna juggle?
Yeah. Oh, and
fire or
then
something?
there was this really cute guy with Down syndrome who was like mesmerized by Tom, and Tom like went up and played like a whole song for him, and it was Time After Time because they only do girl rock.
Oh yeah, bros. Yeah, it's like playing the Go-Go's. Only it's all boys doing all girl covers.
Yeah, they did. I'm just a girl in the world by No Doubt. That was the best.
All right, so it was the Uber driver.
The Uber driver. So we got a ride home, and she was smoking a cig, which I've never seen an Uber driver do, but respect, she asked. And I left my phone in her car, and so Ryan contacted her, and she brought it back to us. She actually punched out. She came inside. I gave her a whole tour. I gave her kratom because she had some pain. We did some things together, and it's really weird to become friends with an Uber driver, exchange numbers and everything. So what up, Jillian? You're cool. Like, I'm sorry, but who befriends their Uber driver? And Ryan, that actually reminds me of your Uber driver, or Lyft driver, I should say, but like the complete opposite.
Well, that's not good. I can't use Lyft anymore.
Yeah, so this guy, Ryan goes to work really early in the morning, and there are very limited drivers out there. So this guy really, really liked Ryan, and Ryan kept getting him. And then this guy, I don't want to use his name, we'll just call him M. And M was like, when can I hang out with you? When can I smoke with you? And Ryan's like, I don't smoke, so I don't know. And he has a terrible opinion of women. And Ryan, he was asking Ryan, what, you let your wife work? You let your wife drive? Like, whoa, this guy was insane. So you can never get lifts again. You only have to do Uber.
Yeah, he's like, you shouldn't let your wife drive because then she's going to want to get a job. And I'm like, she has a job. Like,
that's what happened.
Like, what are you talking about, dude?
Wow.
Like, what decade are you living in, man? Oh, well. But anyway, yeah, so.
That was a good night.
Matt DiStefano is our new drummer.
Yeah.
So that's looking up.
That's awesome.
Maybe we get back out there live.
Oh, yeah, we will for sure.
I mean, we jammed pretty good. Like, we immediately, like,
clicked.
Did like a 20-minute fucking jam, and it was like really good.
That's hard, you know.
We started learning some songs. It might work out, I think.
He's really good.
Pretty good, yeah.
He actually was in a band that opened for Brand New, and one of my favorite bands of all time, As I Lay Dying. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm in the midst of rock royalty. Plus, he's just a funny dude. I like him. So Ryan asked him to go study, and very excited for the Blowjam band. Sorry.
Fuck. All right, Ryan's new podcast.
Ryan's new podcast.
All right, so number one, I listed one called You Can Tell Me Anything. All right, I listed one, it's called You Can Tell Me Anything. A podcast where Teresa Lee invites comedians to spill the beans about something they want to get off their chest. The episode I listened to is called Nori Reed. I didn't learn how to use chopsticks until I was 11. Nori Reed confesses to not using chopsticks until she was 11. Even though she's Korean. So.
Oh, twist.
They talked about being first generation, cultural appropriation versus appreciation, and also growing up as the only Korean in Kentucky. It's a pretty funny podcast, sometimes therapeutic. I get 1 puppy, 3 kitties, and 2 iguanas.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about our arbitrary rating system once again.
Alright, do you have a segment?
I do, actually. It's called Podcast Dreams with Deal. Sometimes I listen to so many podcasts, and I think about podcasts all the time that I even dream about them. And it's not even so much about dreaming about existing podcasts. I have this recurring dream. where I'm trying to remember the name of a podcast that Ryan told me about, or a podcast that I listened to once, and like all I want to do is listen to it again, and I can't find it. Isn't that weird? I'm sorry.
This is your segment?
No, but it gets better.
Wow.
All right, so I had a sex dream with Tommy Vitor from Pod Save America, which is really gross because he's like not an attractive man. And I also had the other night a romantic relationship with Virgil Texas from Chapo Trap House. Ooh. And it was really funny. No, it wasn't anything like that, but it was at a punk house, and we were supposed to go to a punk show, and Chapo was going to do a live podcast there. And so we were talking to the guys and everything, and I just remember you, Buggy, being like, which one of the guys do you want to fuck? And I'm like, I guess Virgil. And you're like, okay, I could see that.
Gross,
that's why I didn't tell you about this segment.
All right, let's never do this again.
Okay,
that's it for that.
Last time for Delia's podcast dream segment.
Never again, and we're not listening to Chapo Trap House anymore.
All right.
So my number 2 is Culpable. It's a podcast that explores unsettled cases where the people who seem deserving of blame have somehow eluded justice. It's with host Dennis Cooper. The episode I was to was called the episode of this where they cover Christian's case file, which was released in July 2019. The case file contains documents gathered by various agencies who have worked the case over the years, including recent investigations and presentation by the Attorney General's office. Dennis discusses the release of the case file and breaks it down. And the episode sounded really interesting, but I probably should have listened to it in order from the beginning because
oh no,
the whole season's about one case, about this Christian person. So from what I gather, Christian was found dead, and it was ruled as a suicide, but my guess is probably not. That's the reason for the podcast. They're trying to prove that it's like a homicide. So,
so you didn't realize it was
without
a
knowing that
serial?
much, and just listening to that episode where I should have listened to like 8 other episodes before this one, I give it 3 red-tailed hawks, 2 bald eagles, and 6 turkey buzzards. It's very good.
Wow, that's a lot of big predatory birds.
Yeah, it's a really good-sounding podcast. Even though I didn't know what the fuck was going on, it was all right.
That's awesome.
It sounded like the real deal.
I want to listen to that.
It's like a CBC thing, man.
I think that's why I have dreams about like having podcasts that I can't remember, is because you tell me really good ones, and it's even recorded and published on PODSMASH, and I still can't remember. So I gotta just fucking subscribe like immediately. Alright, podcast dreams, never again. What's your nay? Or should I start with my nay?
Well, I have another.
Oh, you have another newbie?
Yeah, it's okay. My number 3 is Uncover. Uncover is an investigative series from CBC. It's in its 5th season, and it's about Charmini Anand Deval. They do a different case each season. And this one, on June 12th, 1999, 15-year-old Charmini Anand Deval disappeared. I listened to the first episode, season 5, episode 1. It's called The Crime Beat. Investigative journalist and host Michelle Shepard revisits a case that has haunted her for over 20 years. Charmini's remains were found in a wooded ravine months after her disappearance. They're still trying to find her murderer. I give it 10 marshmallows, 3 graham crackers, and 2 Hershey chocolate bars. It's pretty good.
I'm already subscribed to Uncover.
It's not bad.
No, it's not bad. Their first season was all about Nexium. You know, that female cult sex trafficking.
Yeah, I started the 5th.
Yeah.
I remember Nexium, though. That was crazy.
That is crazy. And it's happened in Albany, which is only 2 hours away from us, so we're pretty damn close to a sex cult. Missed out. Are you ready for nays now?
Missed out. Oh, wow. Okay, well.
Yeah, because I really want to do this
You and Virgil,
nay.
Texas, missed out.
Yeah, we did. Maybe on the next go-around. Oh, sorry, that's gross.
Ugh.
I mean, he's an attractive, smart guy, but
Get out of here.
at this,
Come on,
okay. So my nay is Sword and Scale, episode 147, and it was all right. Sword and Scale, some of the best production in the whole podcast universe. He's like on point, beautiful audio, excellent music. That's not enough to make up for this terrible episode. It was this dumb and boring story of male sexual abuse. And yet, it's like, yeah, it happens to everybody, childhood sexual abuse. But this one guy, he was interviewing this guy, and basically it was this older guy who he looked up to. Like, oh, he was like 16, or the older guy was 16, he was like 13 or something. And he looked up to him, he idolized him, and they'd be hanging out, and the older kid would, like, put his hands on the guy's, like, junk over his pants, and he did it 3 times, and it was always the same. And I'm like, all right, well, number one, that's not salacious. I'm looking for some more childhood abuse.
He used to make him put his hand on his junk while he was jerking off and made him finish.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he finished, like, on his hand. So.
Oh, that's still not that bad.
But get your hand jizzed on? I don't like it.
That's true. That makes it worse.
It's not that good.
At the same time,
it's not like you got raped, but it's still fucked up.
Yeah, at the same time, it just wasn't a good interview. Like, the guy was like, yeah, it happened 3 times. I don't know.
I didn't think it was a good episode because it's fucking... The host there is just like, then what happened?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
right.
Oh,
mm-hmm. Yeah, very bad interview skills.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
Yeah, it was just, it was bad. So just skip 147. It's one of my favorite podcasts, but 147 is a waste of time.
Unless you love getting your hand jizzed on.
I know I do. By Virgil, Texas, and Tommy Vitor.
Come on.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so my name is The Theory of Everything. It's a podcast where host Benjamin Walker personally connects all the dots. This week episode, it was called The Boy Who Cried Wolf. In this episode, they did a remix of the fairy tales from last year's False Alarm series. It was just stupid. It's about the boy who cried wolf, crosses paths with the Emperor with no clothes, and Little Red Riding Hood. Plus, a computer Pinocchio is there to like really piss me off, and this is dumb. I don't like it.
Man, Benjamin Walker is running out of ideas.
Yes, you're failing.
And he's like the godfather of podcasting.
I know, he's not doing good. He's running ideas. And he's doing like remixes of old podcasts. He's like, remix! It's not working out, but whatever.
Yeah, oh well.
Do you have another name?
No, that's it. I'm trying to stay positive.
I have a second name. It's a MS thread where hosts Ben Brock Johnson and Emery Syverston dive deep into a Reddit thread. This week's episode is called Loot Crates. Loot Crates are virtual prize boxes available for purchase in video games. They contain mystery items like customizations, powerful weapons, or rare gear. I'm just not a gamer, and I don't really care about loot crates, so nah.
I guess they're not going to be our sponsor, even though they did set up a campaign for us.
No.
But we've never done it.
It's a different type of loot crate.
Oh, it's not the actual company.
It's not the company.
Oh, I
loot
see.
Crates are a thing inside a video game that you pay money for, and you don't know what you're going to get from it.
Oh, duh, inside.
So you might get like a cool gun or like a nice outfit.
Oh.
But you don't know. You still have to pay like, I don't know, however much. You have to unlock it.
That's so dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah, people should buy shit in real life. Like, buy a real weapon.
No. All right, you got a shout out?
I do. My special shout out is Risk, hosted by Kevin Allison. True Tales Boldly Told. People go up and they just tell really messed up stories about their lives. This one was Live from London, part 2, or the second installment of it. There were 4 stories. The first 3 weren't bad, but the last one was amazing. Picture British aristocrats with severe alcohol and opiate addiction, but like lords, like people who really benefited of the feudal system. And basically this guy, his name's Radcliffe Royds, and he was all heroin addled and everything, and he thought that the best way to get out of it was to marry somebody, and that would straighten him out. So he proposed to another well-to-do woman. Her name was Emma. So when they got married, she was Emma Royds, which is pretty amazing. But anyway, like his parents had to meet her parents, and his dad is a crazy alcoholic, and it's just nuts. You could not imagine like anything crazier than this. And the best quote This guy's like got a great British sense of humor. He said, "I've had several wives, 2 of whom were mine, or were my own," meaning that he's fucked a lot of people's wives.
Huh.
Damn. That's not a real quote. It's because I can't read my handwriting.
Oh, nice.
What's your special shout out?
All right. Mine's Hitman. It's a podcast about a technical manual for independent contractors. It's a how-to guide for murdering someone and getting away with it. And how this book/manual inspired so many different murders. It's hosted by journalist Jasmine Morris. This week's episode is called "This Shit Can't Be Protected." Attorneys John Marshall and Howard Siegel, along with the victims' families, go after Paladin Press in an effort to get Hitman off the shelves. And a judge makes a landmark decision about whether or not this how-to guide can be considered an accomplice to murder. So, shout out to that. Big up.
I've been meaning to ask your opinion about that. That was an excellent episode. How do you feel about Paladin Press? You know, they put out a lot of stuff.
If you're putting out a how-to guide and, like, people are going to use it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is a how-to guide after all. But they're saying we're not telling you to do it. We're just telling you the information.
It's like baking a bunch of cookies and, like, I didn't tell anybody to eat them. And they're all filled with poison. You're going to get in trouble for that.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
But it's First Amendment, you know, and, like, people buy it because it's counterculture and just to have the knowledge. Not like, they don't condone acting it out.
When I was younger, we had a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook, and I made a bunch of bombs. That wasn't good. But anyway, I have a number 2 shout-out. It's this past weekend. It's a comedy podcast with host Theo Von. This week his guest was Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers. It was pretty good.
Did you happen to see at the arena where the Impractical Jokers are coming to Binghamton?
You see how they got a new game show called Misery Index?
No.
It sounds pretty good. It's them, the Practical Joker guys, and that girl from The Good Place, like the Indian chick, or
Oh, okay. I forgot her name, but she's great.
yeah, she's like the host. And it's pretty weird. It's supposed to be like what's worse, you know, kind of like on the Misery Index.
Oh, okay. That sounds interesting. Is it also on True TV?
It's kind of like a kid. No, it's on TBS. Like a kid got in trouble and he was forced to live in the woods for taking a bite of a Pop-Tart versus a kid that was forced to breastfeed till the age of 9. Like, what's worse on the Misery Index?
Breastfeeding.
I think the Pop-Tart guy won, but it's weird.
Oh, okay.
Because they poll, like, the whole audience or whatever. So.
Oh, that's why. So it's sort of like reverse Would You Rather
Kind of.
with the audience.
I guess.
Yeah, no, that sounds great.
People do surveys, you know, like survey says.
Okay, I'm going to write down Misery Index.
So it sounds interesting. But anyway.
Yeah. No, you know what? And I don't have any more special shout-outs. All I have are special excuses, which was it was a busy week at work. I'm a career girl, and that's why I don't have any more for you. Sorry, guys. Do you want to wrap up this episode?
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Oh, by the way, we love you and thank you for listening.
Nope, bye.